Today I'm going to make a end table from this 2x6 and the cedar wood planks you see at the bottom of my power tool bench. From this 2x6 I want a 3-inch wide, not quite 2x4 and a 2x2. I start by ripping off a 1/4 inch from the side. From that I rip my 2x4 and 2x2s. The top will be made with those. They're planks from a swing set I've bought for my kids 15 years ago, but since replaced when I moved here this summer. I have a lot of that wood and I want to put it to good use. Cut off 14 inches from the 2x4 and rip it down into 2x2s. For the rest of the 2x4, I resaw it down into 1x4s. To do this safely on the table saw, I do it in 2 passes. Raise the blade to about 1 3/4 inches, then rip the board on its side. Then, keeping the same face against the fence, flip the board over and rip it from the other side, giving you 2 1x4s. For the drawers, I'm going to cut some dados on the table saw with my regular blade. Cut 50 inches off of one of the 1x4s and bring it back to the table saw. Set your blade to about a 1/4 inch high and your fence to about 3/4 inches. Run the board, then move the fence 1/8 of an inch closer and run it again, giving you a 1/4 inch dado. Rip that board down to 2.5 inches from its original 3-inch width. We're almost done preparing the parts. The rest just need to be cut to length. The full cut list is in the description, as this can be a bit hard to follow along. I cut all the legs from the 2x2s at 23.5 inches. This lets me use the full 96 inches minus the curve cuts and squaring off the ends. The drawer parts come from the part we did the dados on. Cut it to 4 12-inch parts. The rest of the 1x4s you need to cut into 4 12-inch parts and 3 14-inch parts. Keep the last off cut. They will be used for the drawer slice and the handle later. The side and the back panels are made from Glueups. The sides are the 12-inch boards and the back is the 14-inch boards. I clamped them all together, both from the side and the top. The drawer is assembled like this. Start by gluing and screwing the front only, to be able to slide in the bottom panel before adding the back. Trace the drawer bottom on a 1/4 inch plywood. Make sure to add about a 1/4 inch all around to get into the dados. I use the bandsaw to cut it. Slide in the bottom of the drawer, then attach the back the same way you did the front. I use a can of paint to trace the handle. I cut it on the bandsaw, then use my sanders to get it nice and rounded. On the router table, using a roundover bit, I round over the bottoms of all the glue-up panels, the legs, and 2 sides of one of the shorter 2x2s. Don't round over the last 2x2. Time for assembly. Using cuts from the first 1/4 inch offcut of the 2x6 earlier to prop it up, I glued the 14-inch panel between the two legs, rounded part down. Add plenty of glue, clamp in place. Put it aside for a minute while you do the second side, the front of the table, which is the opening of the drawer. Using a shim, glue and clamp the top in place. Using the offcut from the 3-inch wide 1x4 from earlier, place the bottom one so you can slide that in and out, tight but not too tight. This will be the height of the drawer that will go in there. Flip them over so the inside part is up. Pre-drill them diagonally with a countersink bit and screw them in. I like to finish them with a screwdriver. It gives me more precision and avoids destroying my hard work by going too deep with the driver. Join the two sides the same way, with the 12-inch panels. Use whatever you need to prop them up so that they arrive at the same depth as the other sides. I'm using some offcuts I had around. Earlier in the video, I had a piece planned for the front of the drawer. I left it in the video because most people will probably end up using that same material. But I decided mid-project to use the same cedar as my tabletop. You can see I pried it off of the drawer after it had dried. I think this will look better. For the drawer slide, I'm just running a piece of 1x4 from earlier, flat in the middle. You can use this to raise the drawer to be dead center vertically also. Using the roundover bit on the router is saving me a lot of the sanding. No sharp corners to make splinter free. I gave it 2 coats of some satin black interior paint I had. While this dries, I align the tabletop planks upside down on my table and using the offcuts from the 2x6 and cutting strips to keep them together. Glue and brad nails works great to get this done quick and easy. For the handle, align it in the middle and pre-drill from the inside, then screw in place. I don't add glue, this should be plenty strong. I gave the rough cedar planks a few coats of wipe-on polyurethane to give some protection to their easily scratched surfaces. That's all for this table. I love making those and I've had many people want to, custom sizes or colors to use as bedside tables. I've always made them with whatever I had around, more so for the tabletop. I'm going to put this on the marketplace and within a few days I'm certain it'll be gone. Thanks for watching and see you next time.